Houston, Texas, the home of Texas Southern, the Tigers, as it's Tigers on Tigers tonight, as Texas Southern plays host to Grambling in this key SWAC matchup. Texas Southern has won more SWAC championships than any other school in men's basketball. They won 3 in a row, but had that run in last year at the hands of Grambling. Good evening, everyone. Robert Ford with Perry Clark. And, you think about the SWAC, and it really goes through these two schools. You look at the records, 3-11, doesn't really tell the whole story because these two schools have been the matchup in the SWAC championship game each of the last 2 years.
No question. These are the two heavyweights, and they both know that the run for the championship runs through them. Grambling won the championship last year, winning the tournament, and Texas Southern really wants to get it back, and you have Texas Southern trying to reclaim and Grambling trying to defend. We're in for a great evening of basketball tonight.
So these were the two best teams in the conference last year, and they're picked to be the two best teams in the conference this year. Grambling once again picked to win the SWAC in the preseason poll. Texas Southern in that 2 spot. And you talk to both of these teams' coaches, and they both feel like this is a huge measuring stick for these two teams early, and they feel like it's not going to be the last time these teams really have to battle against each other if they're going to win this conference.
No, but they both want to prove a point here tonight, especially coming off of losses.
Both teams losing their SWAC openers on Thursday. Texas Southern falling at home in their opener against Southern University, while Grambling, they were up the road in Prairie View and lost on Thursday. Both teams coming in losers of 6 of their last 7 ball games, but this is certainly a conference when it comes to the SWAC, Perry, where it really is about the conference schedule. To schools that have to play a lot of so-called bye games against bigger programs, so the conference play is, and conference schedule is really where it's at.
The real season starts tonight, and that's the way that they feel.
Grambling wins the opening tip with Mikhail Stevenson controlling. Gives it off to Contavious Dozier, the preseason SWAC Player of the Year.
You're talking about some exciting guards with Dozier, with the job he's done for Grambling.
Almost a turnover, and now Texas Southern able to get the turnover after playing a little hot potato with the basketball.
Defense is key for both of these two coaches. They build, that's their building block.
Kevion McLean now working it into the corner. Just inside the arc, it's good for the first basket of the game. Kenny Hunter, this 6'10 redshirt senior out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Hunter, one of 4 players on Texas Southern roster that's 6'10 or taller.
And they allow Hunter to do a lot of things. As we just saw, he can step away from the basket as well as post up.
Grambling trying to penetrate the defense, and an illegal screen called, I believe, on Ernest Ross, first foul of the game, and indeed it is on the 6'9 senior.
I talked to Coach Jackson earlier, and one of the things, because they've had to play on the road against such a high quality of opponent, he goes to more ISO situations and trying to get clear outs.
It's bricked off the back rim by Texas Southern. Grayson Carter unable to connect. And Grambling back the other way, looking for their first points of the ball game. Open 3, top of the key, nothing but net for Ernest Ross, 6'9 senior out of Alachua, Florida, steps out and hits the 3. Jalen Jackson Posey in the starting lineup for Texas Southern tonight after coming off the bench the last 6 games. Grambling showing a zone look here. Talking with Dante Jackson, head coach of Grambling, he was saying they feel like they have to play quite a bit of zone at times. And Jalen Jackson Posey in the starting lineup and paying dividends early. First basket for the 6'3 senior from Midland, Texas.
And that's why Posey's in the lineup, to give him a little bit more scoring. I know they were disappointed with their scoring against Southern.
Yeah, both of these teams felt like their openers, which they each lost on Thursday, were games that they felt like they should have won, and both teams felt like they did not play their best in those openers. A turnover back the other way. Hunter trying to go the distance and counted, and the foul.
Hunter has really stepped up. His versatility and ability to play out on the perimeter and put the ball on the floor gives an added dimension to Texas Southern.
It's Hunter going coast to coast.
You see him doubling the ball screen right there to try to take Grambling out of those ball screens, because that's what Grambling likes to do, to set up ISOs for certain players.
Stevenson guarded tight by Kevion McClain. Still able to get in the lane, but then runs into the tall trees of Texas Southern and turns it over. Open three from the right side, no good by Hayes. Follow-up shot misses, and Grambling comes away with the rebound. Bit of a ragged pace early on in this contest.
Stevenson running the point allows Dozier to play off the ball and makes him a better scorer.
DJ Eason with his first basket, 6'9" junior from Dadeville, Alabama, going glass. And Grambling is within two. Southern getting the wide open three, but it's short from McClain. McClain has struggled to shoot the basketball of late for Texas Southern.
And that's something that Coach Jones really needs him to do. They worked on that hard at practice on Sunday to try to get him going a little bit more.
Tyre Hayes stealing the pass. Here come the Texas Southern Tigers. Yes, both these teams are the Tigers. And that's going to be steps called on Kenny Hunter, the turnover for Texas Southern.
See, Hunter will learn to take that ball up on the side of the rim that he caught it in, and he could have used his body and maybe walked away with 3 points. Instead, he tried to go on the other side, and the play got negated.
A lot to get caught under the basket there.
Both of these teams, when they can't run and transition, like set up offense and like to go off of ball screens and pin down so they can get their post guys in post up positions.
Dozier turns it over. He thought it was off TSU, but it's going to be Texas Southern basketball. Already 6 turnovers for Grambling in this game.
That's not the way you want to start on the road.
Carter turnaround shot, doesn't get that to fall, and the rebound's pulled down by Grambling. Stevenson around the Eason screen, almost turned it over again. Instead gets it right side, and the three-pointer is bricked off the back rim by Ernest Ross. Offensive rebound pulled down for Grambling State, and they'll get another chance at it.
Grambling's doing a great job on the offensive glass so far.
Eason trying to go to the basket and misses everything. Pulled down by Jalen Jackson Posey of Texas Southern. Just under 5 minutes gone by in the opening half. Hunter to the basket with the left hand, unable to finish. Eason clears it for Grambling State. Open three, why not? But doesn't go for Ross. Made one earlier. Texas Southern looking to run, but a little too fast there. Is that pass too long for Jackson Posey? 2-point lead for Texas Southern, playing at home. Both teams looking for their first SWAC win. Lead over Grambling, and a big reason for that, the Grambling turnovers. Already 6 turnovers in this ball game, coming with just over 5 minutes of game action. Season high 23 turnovers in their loss against Prairie View, their last time out over the weekend. And that's an area that Coach Dante Jackson was talking with us at shoot-around today, Perry Clark, that Grambling really needs to clean up. What do you think leads to all those turnovers for a team like the Grambling State Tigers? This shot rattles in for Ernest Ross. Tough shot. Well, he has 5.
They played a tough non-conference schedule, and a lot of times when you look at the types of teams they play, the Cincinnatis, the Floridas, and people like that, they feel like they have to score quick, and so they wind up playing a little faster than what they normally would and try to keep in transition. Now they're back in league play, and now Ross can be more effective in the low post, and they can slow it down and run and be more patient, and that's what Coach is trying to get them to understand.
There is Dante Jackson, the head coach, and Ross, a couple of defenders around him, but still able to put this in the bucket to tie it.
He has a nice touch. He has good footwork, and when he takes his time, he's really effective, especially in and around the basket.
Dwayne Posey with the left hand. His first basket, 6'7" senior out of Memphis, coming off the bench.
Johnny Jones has a lot of respect for Posey coming in off the bench, and he expects him to step up and really give them a punch offensively.
And a foul is called as Stevenson hits the deck.
They're trying to trap all the ball screens. And Grambling, especially Stevenson, is so quick with the ball coming off the ball screen that he makes them foul. See, they're trying to step up and put him in a trap situation, but they took the wrong angle, and Stevenson would not make it easy for him. He's really good coming off of ball screens.
And watching Texas Southern's shoot around earlier today, they were working on that exact thing. They feel like they need to get the ball out of Stevenson's hands, and Texas Southern able to get the steal off the inbound, and the layup converted by Zaire Hayes. It was Kavion McLean with the steal and the assist.
And that's what McLean does for this Texas Southern team. He's the guy that kind of stirs the drink, both offensively and defensively. And Coach Jones has really been disappointed with the way he's played the last couple of ball games.
To the basket with the right hand, no good for Edwards, but the flush is good, courtesy of Solomon Ray. 6'10" redshirt sophomore from Atlanta into the game now for Grambling State. So back to a 2-point lead for Texas Southern with the basketball. McLean, the foul line jumper, got it.
That's where McLean is really good, his mid-range game there. He likes to set a lot of other people up, and that's one of the things that makes him so effective and makes him so important to this basketball team, because a lot of people feed off of his assists.
6 in the SWAC, averaging 14 points per game. And the lob underneath as Ray unable to capitalize. And back the other way goes Texas Southern. Left-handed layup, no good for Hayes. And Grambling State comes away with it. Down by 4 with the basketball. Ross going into the teeth of the defense, loses it, but draws the contact.
As a coach, I had a pet peeve. When guys go in for layups, keep your head up and find your spot on the glass where you want to lay the ball. So many players put their heads down and looking for the contact, and that's why they miss easy shots.
Foul was called on Josh Farmer, his first.
Ross has had a good start for Grambling today.
85% free throw shooter. There's 2 coming here and able to connect on the first one. Tomorrow night, Cooper Flagg and Duke highlights our ACC men's basketball matchup. The Blue Devils host Pitt, who've won 5 straight. Coverage tips at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the app.
That's going to be a good ball game. Jeff Capel going back to Duke.
That's right. Have you gotten to see much of Cooper Flagg, the sensational freshman?
I've seen him. He's very skilled. And he plays well with all the pressure that's been put on, and that's the thing that I've been most impressed with him.
I mean, people before the season even started were talking about him as the first overall pick in next year's NBA draft. But you're right, he's handled, it seems like, the pressure and the expectations very well early on.
John Shire has been the best coach to replace a legend to continue the recruiting. And because Duke's recruiting has not let up at all.
Yeah, you're right about that. Grambling State trying to turn up the defensive intensity here. Posey gives it off.
Illegal screen.
And, yep, foul called on Texas Southern on the screen.
Screeners have to understand it's up to the ball handler to use the screen. Guys want to screen and get the ball handler open, so they wind up running up on the defensive player right there. That's an illegal screen. He's got to be stationary and let the ball handler run the defense off of him.
Yeah, that was an easy call for the officials, that illegal screen by Dwayne Posey.
It gets a lot of big guys in foul trouble.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Tavius Dozier, tough shot, able to knock it down. First basket for the 6'1" senior from Lynette, Alabama. Averages just under 11 a game, second most on Grambling.
He's on everybody's scouting report. I mean, he does a really good job of creating. Dozier does, creating shots in key situations.
Kenny Hunter working in the post here. Faces a double team. Back out to Jackson Posey. Now Jalen Weisinger, the deep three, able to bury it. NBA three for the 6-foot senior from Houston.
Yeah, but all that was created by Hunter. Hunter wasn't greedy. He didn't have anything, reversed the ball, and they were able to get a good-looking shot.
Just the 5th three made by Weisinger in 23 attempts this year. Texas Southern with a 3-point advantage. Step back three is knocked down by Dozier. Contavious Dozier has scored the last 5 for Grambling, starting to heat up.
When he gets on a roll, he can be awful tough to slow down, but Grambling has gone away from their ball screen action because of TSU doubling the basketball.
Jackson Posey too high off the glass. And Dozier corrals it for Grambling. Grambling looking to take the lead here. The ball winds up back in the hands of Dupree Fletcher, freshman who is playing his first game of the season. 5'10" out of Milwaukee.
See, this is the ISO ball that I talked about that Grambling has gone to at times. Dozier's got the hot hand, so they're trying to set him up.
Tough shot for Burnett, and that's knocked down. Antoine Burnett, he was a game-time decision. Didn't play at Prairie View over the weekend because of a back injury. But in there tonight, he's their leading scorer, averaging 12.5 per game.
Well, that just shows you how important this game is to both of these two teams. It's early in the season, but you try to establish yourself for tournament play and letting the other one know who's the best.
Hutchinson unable to connect on the three. Texas Southern back on offense, looking to tie or take the lead here. Weisinger going to the basket. Instead, gets it off into the corner to Jackson Posey. Hunter unable to connect from the foul line. Grambling will pull it down and slow it down. Contavious Dozier around the Burnett screen. Now inside with the right hand. Not able to finish. Underneath was Ray.
That was a great pass. Ray wasn't ready for that, but that was a great look and a right pass.
Weisinger trying to go to the basket, and he's pushed along the baseline. It'll be Texas Southern ball when we come back. It's been bombs away from three so far for both of these teams.
Well, Weisinger knocking down the three right there, and that has a chance to change the defense. There's Dozier knocking it down on the step back, and that's why Grambling's up right now.
So far, 50% shooting for Grambling. Texas Southern at 41%. And early on, Perry, we've seen, and we've talked about it, how much this game means to these two teams. They've played against each other in the last 2 SWAC championship games. And I think we've seen that early in this ball game with the intensity that we've seen on the floor.
Oh, without question, a lot of pride. I talked to Johnny Jones. He was disappointed that the students wouldn't be back, so he had his full band and students and all to get that real home court advantage.
Grambling with the basketball after forcing the turnover. Dale Stevenson back in the game, slowing things down here. Back in the hands of Stevenson. Now Ross with the turnaround. Yes.
I love that set. They went with a horn set and then ran a back screen to get Ross the corner jump shot. Great action that time.
Ross with 9 of the 20 points for Grambling. The stoppage in play because the shot clock did not run. And here's the
they start off with the horns action, and then they set a back screen to get Ross to be able to come to the short corner for that jump shot. I mean, that's big-time coaching right there. Coaching is getting the guys the shot that they want where they want it. And both of these two coaches do a really good job with their teams in helping and being able to do that.
3-pointers no good off the back heel for Keelan Farouk. 7-0 run for Grambling, allowing them to take the lead. Up by 4 at the moment with the basketball. Ross, deep 3, misses everything. Maybe a bit of a heat check there for Ross.
And he's telling him, I can get you a better shot than that, son. Let's have some patience, reverse the ball, set a back screen for you. We'll have some fun. We'll get you down on the block.
Both of these coaches, a lot of respect for each other. Just saw Dante Jackson in his 8th season as the head man at Grambling. As now the officials stop play again here. As I believe there was an issue of blood.
Yeah.
So P.J. Eason coming out of the game.
Yeah.
And he was limping a bit. P.J. Eason getting looked at right now by the training staff behind the Grambling bench. Turnover. Stevenson steals it and lays it in with the right hand. Mikhail Stevenson picking the pocket of McLean. The largest lead for either team in this ball game. That's a 9-0 run now for Grambling.
Grambling doing a good job now doubling TSU's ball screens.
Into the corner, and that rattles around, and finally a friendly bounce for TSU. Grayson Carter, the one who benefits.
They like Carter's ability to step away from the basket, which gives Hunter more of an opportunity to play in that low post, and that one hit every part of the rim.
5th 3 of the season for Carter, the grad student out of Dallas. Dozier working his way inside, throws it off the side of the backboard. And Texas Southern up the court quickly. McLean reverse, yes.
The thing that made that play work was McLean was in one speed till he got to the top of the key. Then he saw what he had in front of him. Then he turned it up one more gear and was able to finish at the rim.
McLean, who averages 14 a game, just 7 points in the loss against Southern. As Ross gets bottled up trying to go to the basket. Good defense there on that double team. 1 point lead for Grambling.
Yeah, we like transition in this game, and that's the name of the game. And this is the transition you see. As there you see McLean scoring at the rim.
For Grambling, much better last few minutes for Grambling. Head coach Dante Jackson in his 8th season as a head coach at Grambling. Previously coached at a couple of other HBCUs, Stillman College, Division II school in Alabama, and before that at Central State, Division II school in Ohio. And Jackson also played at Central State and was assistant there before becoming a head coach.
He's really paid his dues and is very, very highly respected. He's won the Ben Jobe Award twice, and Ben Jobe is an icon and a legend in the SWAC. I actually took his position at Georgia Tech.
Is that right?
I started my career, and he was a great mentor to me and at Southern. And but that's a great award, and coach has just done an unbelievable job. He's always thirsting for knowledge and learning and wanting to get better, and he's got a lot of pride in this Grambling program.
Grambling with a 1 point lead. Burnett with the basketball. It's off to Ross, the high man for Grambling with 9 points.
See, Southern went to trapping the ball screens. Grambling is doing a better job of playing out of the traps, and Mr. Ross is doing a better job of catching and shooting it instead of putting it on the floor.
Now in double figures for the 8th time this season, Ernest Ross. 3 point lead for Grambling. McLean, he'll try it, and it rattles out. Burnett gets the rebound. Juan Burnett averages almost 5.5 rebounds per game.
See, Ross is out there to swing the ball. Now he's got to get back in scoring position.
Burnett working his way to the foul line. Ross, open three, rims out, and Texas Southern with the basketball. Jackson Posey handling. Trying to get past Ross, almost breaks his ankles, but unable to hit the shot. Everything but the bucket there. Ross looking to get it back to Stevenson. Instead, he'll get into the post to James Flippin. Flippin, he gets rejected by Kenny Hunter. Hunter, the preseason SWAC Defensive Player of the Year, and showing it there. Leads to around him, and an open three from the left corner. Zaire Hayes, first three-pointer for the 6'2 senior from Houston.
Texas Southern is a lot better in transition. When they can get the ball and get out and running and getting the wings out, it makes them a much more effective team.
Ross coming around the screen, and no one was there to help for Texas Southern. That is a baker's dozen for Ernest Ross.
He's really tough when he doesn't put the ball on the floor. When he can just get it, shoot it, or one bounce and finish.
Zaire Hayes starting to get it going. He's coming off a career-high 19-point game against Southern on Saturday.
Well, it's nice to know you're in the game to score. So every time Hayes gets the ball, he's looking aggressively to try to score it.
Block underneath on Dozier, but he was fouled. All tied at 26. And Dozier will have free throws when we return.
Mr. Ross is having himself a day. There he is on a great finish. You better guard me. Having a night, they find you, and Mr. Ross is having a night. Whether or not he's playing in the low post and finishing at the rim, whether or not he's stepping away and knocking down a three, or whether or not he's making a ball cut, turning, and putting it in your face. But he's having a night, and you better locate that young man, number 55, because he's really playing well tonight.
Yeah, 5 of 10 from the field so far. And over his season average already, in the first half isn't even over. Johnny Jones, head coach for Texas Southern, in his 7th season, leading TSU, head coach at LSU. Before that, North Texas for 11 years, had success at both places. If you're Johnny Jones, what do you do to try and stop Ernest Ross?
Well, I think I put one of my better defenders on him, and I try to deny him access to the basketball, because when he's been able to catch and shoot, or catch and have some ways to drive to the basket, he's been really effective. You got to make somebody else to have to score some points for Grambling.
More than 400 wins in Johnny Jones' lengthy coaching career as Kentavious Dozier hits both free throws. And Grambling with a 2-point lead.
And Johnny Jones is, besides being a heck of a coach, one of the nicest people you ever want to meet.
Already the 4th lead change in this ball game, and I second that as well, Perry. Always great to deal with, and really loves being here at TSU. McLean winds up getting his shot blocked by Stevenson, and back the other way comes Grambling, looking to turn some defense in the offense, but it won't happen there as Stevenson throws that into the second row.
It's funny when a guy makes a pass, he goes and stand there, everybody looks at him like, who are you throwing that to?
and Stevenson patting his hand with his chest, patting his chest with his hand and saying, my bad. We know. Everybody knows. It's okay. It happens. 2-point lead for Grambling. Texas Southern looking to answer here.
McLean is a young man, I think, that has to get going for Texas Southern to really make a mark in this league. Another illegal ball screen. I tell you, I used to get so mad at my guards for getting my bigs in foul trouble. You know, now he's got to be stationary. You see him leaning. It wasn't a whole lot, and it was a little bit of acting there. But you can't. The bigs can't create the screen. The guards have to make the defensive guy run off of it.
That's the second illegal screen called on Grayson Carter, as that one rims out for Burnett. Texas Southern tie with a 2 or take the lead with a 3. Carter passes it inside, almost lost inside by Hunter, who's bottled up and then loses it out of bounds, but it's going to stay with Texas Southern.
The scariest thing for a college coach is to see your bigs passing from one to the other. That will make you hold your breath more than anything. And that time Hunter got a pass from Carter and tried to finish.
Hayes unable to connect from the baseline, but an offensive rebound pulled down by Hunter. Kick it back out. Jackson Posey looking to get rid of it. Gets it back to Hunter. 8 to shoot. Hayes around this Hunter screen. He'll try a deep 3 with the shot clock running down. And another offensive rebound. Hunter fighting for it. Does he get it? He does not.
That's a tough foul right there. You hate to see the foul's called on Hunter, but that's a tough foul. You hate to see your big make a great effort. You see Hunter right there is very surprised. I mean, they're just going after the basketball. He should get rewarded. Look at his dedication going after the ball, and a foul's called. You know, that's hard.
Yeah, it is hard, and you can see why, because he was basically like trying to go through Solomon Ray. But I agree with you, Perry. I mean, you love to see a guy hustle like that and fight for a ball like that. It just didn't work out.
And as a coach, I would say just because he didn't go after the ball, you shouldn't penalize my guy for hustling.
Burnett to the basket off the glass. And Antoine Burnett with a couple of buckets. Johnny Jones is going to call a timeout. Jones isn't happy, and he may still be talking about that foul on the other end.
He is. I mean, it's just, you know. But there you see a great drive right there. This is when I talked about Grambling going to their isolation. They pick guys that they want to take advantage of the matchup, and they clear out the side, and that's what they just did with Burnett. But what Johnny's talking about, my guy is hustling. It's a loose ball. Anybody can go get it. Don't penalize him for being more aggressively and going and getting the basketball. It's hard enough to get guys to work hard and to dive on the floor. Now you're going to penalize them.
Tahina Pau and number 2 South Carolina highlight our next ESPN2 featured women's basketball matchup. They'll host Texas A&M Thursday at 5 Eastern from Colonial Life Arena in Columbia. The Gamecocks have won 5 straight and 12 of their last 13 against the Aggies.
You talk about special. Dawn Staley is awful special. I mean, she has just done an unbelievable job, not just for South Carolina, but for all of basketball. You know, I mean, she is a great ambassador, Olympian, Olympic coach, national champion. She just has done an unbelievable job.
And you get to see her work up close. You were an assistant for the men's team at South Carolina, still live in Columbia, so you get to see that South Carolina program, and you're right, it is remarkable what they've been able to do. Hayes unable to connect. And a fight for the rebound as 3 bodies hit the floor. It's a tie-up, and the possession arrow will keep it with Texas Southern.
Hunter again, great effort right there. Shots missed. Hunter comes and gets it. If anything, that might have been more of a foul than the first one because he's over the back, but they weren't going to make that mistake again and call that too.
Under 2 minutes to play in the opening half, Grambling has opened up a 4-point lead.
I think Southern has to get more of an offensive flow. They've been most effective in transition, but in their half court, they've not gotten much.
Tough runner is missed by Josh Farmer. And back the other way, a run out, but Ross able to convert on the layup. Numbers if TSU hurries as Ross just now running to get back into the play. Hunter to the basket, unable to finish, and Grambling State comes away with it. Ross on the run out, and a nice strip by Jalen Jackson Posey for TSU. Lob pass, slam! Josh Farmer with the payoff. 2-point lead for Grambling. And you said it earlier, Perry, TSU has been at their best when they've been able to run.
Yeah, but in order to win this game, though, they're going to have to play a little better half-court offense, but the transition has certainly been the way. There you see Ross. See, he doesn't look at the basket. He's looking at the defender, and that's what makes it tough. Then you throw it up, and a great finish right there, and it makes it so successful being able to do that as Farmer's able to dunk the basketball.
Minute 14 remaining in the first half. Grambling State got off to a really rough start as they committed turnovers on 6 of their first 8 possessions, but they've really settled things down since. Just did commit a turnover, but have been able to minimize the turnovers since that ragged start. Turnaround shot off the heel. That was P.J. Edwards. TSU gets it up court quickly with under a minute remaining. Chance to tie or take the lead here. Open 3 from the left wing is off the field for Jackson Posey. Hunter just bullies everyone for that rebound. Hayes able to capitalize. 9 points for Hayes. That leads TSU, and we're all knotted at 30.
Give Hunter a big-time assist for that, because he fought like heck to get that offensive rebound and kicked it out. That's a young man, Hunter, that you really want to make sure he's on the bus with you, because he's a warrior.
Dante Jackson with his use it or lose it timeout here for Grambling. If we take a look at the Hayes basket, he's shown that he can score in that mid-range tonight.
And that's his game. It's nice to have that type of confidence from your coaches. When you go in the game, you know they're looking for you to take your shots, and you take your time and you get your feet set and knock them down, and he does a great job for that for TSU.
All right, so 4-second difference between game and shot clock here. Or if you're Dante Jackson, try to run this down as much as possible and try to get as close to the last shot as possible of the half?
You know, it depends on how you coach, but I try to get the best shot that I can. You know, if it takes 24 seconds to get that, fine. If it takes 10 seconds to get it, fine. But you want to make sure that you score on this possession. So I look to get the best shot that I can. I would run some sort of action where I got Mr. Ross involved, though, especially with the half that he's played so far.
Yeah, 13 points for Ross. Again, a 4-second differential between game and shot clock here. Burnett misses everything with the three, and the ball goes out of bounds off of Grambling. I don't think that's the shot they wanted.
TSU came out in the 1-3-1. It was a different look, and you really could have held for the last one or close to the last one against that zone.
And now, with the shot clock off, TSU will likely play for the final shot of the half. A chance to go into the locker room with the lead. Here you got McClain around the Hunter's screen just inside the arc, able to knock it down.
And that young man has so much talent. He's got to step up and play well in the second half for TSU. 6
points for McClain, and it's a 2-point lead for TSU going into the intermission. In this key SWAC matchup, both teams playing their second SWAC game.
There you see the lob and the finish right there and transition. Ross winds up following. We're going back and forth. It's a heavyweight battle. TSU scores and puts them up 2 in the half.
Teams in the SWAC, 6 ties and 4 lead changes. Jalen Weisinger took 1 shot in the half for TSU, and he made it count, a deep 3, and Texas Southern up by 2. Back to Houston. You look at the numbers between Grambling State and Texas Southern. TSU with a 2-point lead at the half, pretty even. Same field goal percentage, rebounding pretty even. Perry Clark, what do you think these two teams need to do if they're going to get the win in this ball game in the next 20 minutes?
Well, I think for TSU, I think they've got to get back to a low post play. I think Hunter, getting the ball to Hunter and Carter in the post area, they can be dominant there. I think for Grambling, they've gone away from their ball screens because they've been doubled. And I think going back to their set plays where they've been able to get Ross really good looks has really been effective for them.
Ernest Ross, 13 points for Grambling, the lead all scorers. Zaire Hayes with 9, the high man for TSU. Grambling State with the basketball to begin the second half. Down by a pair. In the hands of Dozier with 12 on the shot clock. Dozier, little jab step, now gives it off to Eason. And off the handoff, Stevenson unable to hit, but Eason the offensive rebound for Grambling. Leads to an open 3 for Ross, but that's short. Eason trying to get another offensive rebound, battling with Hunter, and able to get it to Ross. Looked like he was trying to throw it off to TSU.
Yeah, great effort by Eason.
That 3-pointer off the heel for Dozier, and a foul on the rebound. It's going to be on TSU. What fight on the glass for Grambling on this possession?
I tell you, Grambling has been really impressive, you know, as far as Coach Jackson, as far as going and getting his guys to go to the glass, play well together. There you see right there, battling for the ball and loose ball there, but just Eason has just been relentless on the glass.
Kenny Hunter picking up his second foul. And a steal on the inbound by Jackson Posey.
Turnovers negate a lot of good things. And that's the one thing that drives coaches crazy.
Lane getting it into the corner for Jackson Posey. Posey trying to work his way inside against Stevenson. Now facing a double team, shooting it over Ross unsuccessfully. Kel Stevenson will slow things down for Grambling State. Two teams picked at the top of the SWAC preseason poll. Grambling 1, TSU 2, as TSU gets another turnover. These two teams have met in a SWAC championship game each of the last 2 years, splitting those meetings. Grambling winning last year to get to the NCAA tournament for the first time. Three-pointer off the heel, and Zaire Hayes unable to connect. Grambling State will slow things down here. Still looking for our first points of the second half.
Coach Jackson just called a set play there. He got the back screen for Ross. That time, TSU did a good job of guarding it.
Edwards cut off. Ross open three from the corner, unable to connect. And the rebound corralled by TSU. McLean back the other way. He'll try a three and bury a three. Kavion McLean gives Texas Southern a 5-point lead.
Well, again, Texas Southern is so much better to me in transition. And McLean makes a lot of good decisions in transition for them, and that's what makes them very effective. Again, you see the hard trap on the ball screens, and this is the thing that gave Grambling a lot of problems early till they went to their sets. Offensive calls.
And almost another turnover, and that's going to be a backcourt violation on Grambling, and it will go to TSU.
That's a tough call right there, because I don't think anybody really had control of the basketball. We can watch it right here. Tried to kick it out, it just deflected, it got hit. See, Grambling never really had control of the ball. It should have been a transition.
And I think TSU probably felt like a fast break opportunity was taken away from them there because of that call. Turnovers were the story early in the first half for Grambling. They've been the story early here in the second half.
So you have 5 seconds on the shot clock, and the ball never penetrated the foul line. And that's where I'm saying you really got to get your post guys involved and collapse the defense and get the ball in the paint.
McLean unable to hit the three. Ross with the follow, but the offensive rebound once again pulled in by Grambling. This time, courtesy of Dupree Fletcher. Into the game early here in the second half, playing his first game of the season. And that layup missed by Dozier, but he gets his own rebound. Grambling State's been relentless on the offensive glass so far in the second half, but still haven't scored. And now a tie-up is called. Possession arrow gives it to TSU.
The double teams by TSU has created quite a problem for Grambling. There you see Dozier. He's been doubled. They worked on that yesterday in practice, how to handle Dozier, especially with the ball screens, and it's been really effective.
Zaire Hayes, the one able to force that jump ball. Forced the turnover as a result.
TSU is going to their open offense right now. What they're looking for is penetration.
McLean will try the mid-range unsuccessfully, and it goes out of bounds. The Grambling basketball.
You know, you see so many teams going with an open offense and to give the players more flexibility and freedom, but you have to have at least one player that can beat his man off the dribble to collapse the defense to make that type of offense effectively.
So when you talk about an open offense, the whole goal is to get someone going to the basket.
Without question, you have the spacing to give them the freedom to drive, to beat their guy off the dribble. But if nobody can beat their man off the dribble, then you wind up staying on the perimeter.
Burnett, tough shot off the glass. He thought he was fouled. Now has a half dozen.
And this is what Grambling does. They find a matchup that seems to work for them. Right now it's Burnett, and they go to that guy and they try to feed off of him to get an easy shot.
Backdoor cut, McLean unable to finish. Grambling State scored their first points of the second half on their last possession, looking to do some more damage here, down by 3. Burnett had that last basket. He's going to give it off to Ross, who was the man in the first half offensively for Grambling.
See all Texas Southern's doing right now is switching.
Shot clock in single digits. Dozier unable to connect on the deep 3. TSU quickly back the other way. Jackson Posey trying to break Dozier off the dribble. He stops him, and that'll slow TSU down and take him out of the fast break. Long three, no good for Carter. Grayson Carter hit a three in the first half. And here comes Grambling. Grambling attacking the basket. Burnett going strong to the hole and draws the foul. So Burnett certainly has been the aggressor here in the second half for Grambling, and he'll have some free throws when we return. Texas Southern up by 3. TSU with a 3-point lead. 14:55 remaining in the second half. They led by 2 at the intermission. Grambling, they've missed 8 of their 9 shots here in the second half. What do they need to do to try and get going offensively again?
You know, I don't like to try to coach other people's team, but I think that TSU has learned to handle the ball screen action that Grambling likes to run. I think they have to stay away from it. They've been doubled every time they try to run in the second half. They turn the ball over, haven't come up with anything good. I think being able to get the isolation, which is a clear out for Burnett, I think trying to get post-up situations for their bigs will work. But I think they have to go away from the ball screens.
Posey hit the ground hard after that foul. Charge to Ernest Ross, his second. Fortunately, Posey able to get up pretty quickly. As Ross trying to get the turnover. But yeah, you talk about getting Burnett going. He has all 4 of Grambling's points here in the second half, or Burnett does, and 8 points for the game.
Yeah, and then whether or not you go to him or whether or not you go to Dozier.
Well, they just went to Dwayne Posey, TSU did, and that paid off. Second bucket for the 6'7" senior from Memphis.
Great call coming out of a timeout.
3-point lead for TSU. Fletcher trying to go to the basket. He gets that rejected, but gets it into the corner to Ross. It's short, and that'll go out of bounds to TSU.
They got to find a way to get Ross going. He had such a great first half. You see right there, pick, roll, attacking the rim. See how he keeps his head up and great finish? That's the difference between making. See how he keeps his head up and finds the rim? So many guys lower their head to find the defense and the contact.
Alley-oop, misconnection there, but Ross touches it last for Grambling. So TSU will get another crack at it with 20 on the shot clock. P.J. Edwards back into the game for Grambling, replacing Ross. Ernest Ross with 2 fouls here early in the second half. Hunter has that ball poked away and fighting for the loose ball. Still on the ground, picked up by Grambling, and a foul called as Hutchinson took it to the basket, and he's going to be rewarded with a pair of free throws.
Great hustle that time by Grambling. They see the deflection right there, but Hunter's really going after where he plays hard. Loose ball picked up right there. Great finish.
By the way, Hunter just called for his 3rd foul. Something to keep an eye on. Final 13:52. Lewis Hutchinson with his first points of the night. Spent last year at Charleston Southern, also played a year at the University of Rhode Island. 6'6" redshirt sophomore from Upper Marlboro, Maryland.
That's a great basketball area up in that part of Maryland.
Pressure put on full court by Grambling. Texas Southern able to take it, and it leads to another Posey slam.
That's where McLean is at his best, and that's why it's so important for him to play well. And I talk about that because when you hear about guys being dominant, first of all, you think of big guys. Second of all, you think about somebody that scores the ball a lot. But what he does so well is set other people up, and his ability to do that makes this Texas Southern team very efficient.
Burnett called for the foul, so it's an and one opportunity for Posey here. 70% free throw shooter. Not a lot of fouls called in the first half of this game. As you see, just the first free throw attempt of the game for Texas Southern.
This game has been really well officiated. They've pretty much let them play.
4-point lead for TSU. Grambling working the ball around the perimeter, now in the hands of Burnett. Then their best scoring option here in the second half. 6 on the shot clock. Fletcher trying to go baseline double team, puts it up, draws the foul. Either on McLean or Posey, both of them were there. Neither one of them believe they committed the foul. That's going to be on Posey.
Coaches hate when a foul is called on a bad shot. And whether or not it is a foul or not a foul, they just don't like. The feeling is you're bailing a shooter out on a shot that's very difficult to make.
So Fletcher at the line. Our ESPN NBA Wednesday doubleheader, the top team in the Western Conference takes on the best in the East. SGA and the Thunder square off against Donovan Mitchell and the Cavs at 7 Eastern. Then Giannis and the Bucks host Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs. NBA Countdown tips off coverage at 6:30.
Grambling showing a little bit of pressure here, trying to speed up the action.
3-point lead for TSU, looking to add it here. McLean splitting a double team. Wide open 3 for Hayes, and he buries it. A dozen for Zaire Hayes. That leads TSU. And a 6-point lead for the homestanding Texas Southern Tigers.
Grambling has to find something that they can run effectively in their half court.
Burnett, turnaround baseline, and that one gets stuck.
It's still Grambling ball.
Now on the possession arrow. Grambling will have it with 20 on the shot clock.
When I talk about McLean, this is the thing I'm talking about mostly. He finds the open guys. He helps set up the offense, and he's making Hayes' shots a lot easier by his penetration.
Second in the SWAC with 4.5 assists per game for McLean. Edwards from the elbow. And an offensive rebound for Grambling. They've been more aggressive on the offensive glass in the second half, and that leads to a 3-point shot. Dupree Fletcher with his first field goal as a collegiate, playing in his first game of the season. Freshman from Milwaukee. Open 3 back the other way. Hayes unable to connect. And the rebound pulled down courtesy of Ray of Grambling.
Grambling's offensive rebounding has been the main reason why they've stayed around in this basketball game. They've not shot the ball exceptionally well. They haven't found anybody that's been on kind of a hot lunch, but the fact that they've worked the glass so well has kept them in position in this basketball game.
6 on the shot clock. Burnett in the lane, yes. Antoine Burnett has scored 6 of his 10 points in the second half. And it's a 1-point lead for TSU. Hayes looking to beat his man off the dribble. Instead, they'll work it around. Hunter unable to connect from the baseline. Grambling gets the rebound. Not only, it seems, Perry, in the second half has Grambling done a good job on the offensive glass, but it seems like they're limiting Texas Southern to just one shot when TSU is on offense as well.
They really have. They've been the more physical team here in this second half. They just have had a tough time putting the ball in the basket.
Tough shot for Burnett with the timer running down, and Hunter clears it for TSU. Back the other way, open 3, Jackson Posey unable to connect. Offensive rebound underneath Carter, and he is fouled. I beg your pardon, that was Posey. Got the offensive rebound and drew the contact for TSU. PJ Edwards whistled for his first foul. 1-point lead for Texas Southern.
And that's what you want. Great offensive rebound. He makes sure they make the foul call, goes into the defensive player, and tries to finish.
At Texas. And for all of the schools in the SWAC, a school made up of 12 historically black colleges and universities, HBCUs, And Texas Southern, they've been the most successful school in men's basketball in the SWAC. Grambling has had a lot of success as well in a variety of sports. And, you know, you and I, Perry, were talking about this earlier today, just how important these two schools and this conference in general has been for so many kids, particularly so many African-American kids over the years.
Without question, it's been a platform for them. You can't talk about the SWAC without talking about the great Eddie Robinson and what he's done, what he did in his legacy, and it's just built from there. And, you know, I've recruited a lot in the states of Texas and Louisiana, and I can tell you the fan base for both of these two schools and schools in the SWAC is very, very strong, and it's given a lot of young men an opportunity not just to play sports, but to get a great education and be able to have a tremendous place in this country, life-wise, business-wise, opportunities, and so they really have had their place.
And of course, these schools were giving a lot of African Americans opportunities at a time when other schools were not, as Hayes goes to the free throw line here, drawing the contact going to the basket for TSU as they try to add to their 1-point lead.
And even today, I mean, they still have their place. And I think that especially ESPN has really worked hard to try to showcase it, the MEAC or the SWAC, and they've really made contributions to doing that. And certain pro athletes, Chris Paul has started a tournament for HBCUs, and you got to take your hat off to him and what he's done with that. But it really does have a place, and to get young people education and to get people a chance to have a quality of life is the most important thing.
Yeah, Grambling played in that Chris Paul tournament earlier this season. It was at Hegan's Sun in Connecticut. Zaire Hayes able to hit on the 2 free throws, now has 14 points to lead TSU. As Itarius Mortal comes into the ball game, his first action. And TSU will put on some full court pressure here, trying to speed up Grambling.
It's important, I think, right now as you get under the 10-minute mark to start getting some sort of offensive flow. You should have a feel by this time in the game who you can go to, what you can run, what works, what doesn't work for you, and play off of that.
Burnett driving baseline, double teamed and blocked by Hunter, and the offensive rebound pulled down by Eason, but wasn't able to get the shot off in time. Excellent defensive sequence there by TSU.
Without question, what's working for Grambling is Burnett going hard to the glass and then following up offensive rebounding. That's still been the key.
It certainly has been. Texas Southern with a bit of a block party here with 6 blocks in this ball game. And that's an area where they typically do reasonably well. McLean with the right hand, pretty layup.
It is hard to double McLean because his ball skills are so good.
And they get the turnover, putting on the full court press again. Does TSU down low, reverse layup is missed by Farouk, and Grambling comes away with it.
Guys like to go on the other side of the basket for that shot, and that's a much more difficult layup than powering in on the side, on the strong side of the basket.
TSU rebounds the Hutchinson miss. Looking to add to their 5-point lead. Hunter trying to kick it into the corner. Tough pass. TSU able to make something out of it, though.
TSU got lucky on that time. Hunter's, and I've been singing his praises, where he got the ball, he just needed to turn and shoot it at that point.
That Farouk bucket gives TSU their largest lead of the game. Hutchinson gets it inside. Hunter with another rejection, that time getting Eason. And it will stay with Grambling with 14 on the shot clock. Hunter's been a beast inside.
He really has. And you see, the problem there is that he's broad jumping going to the basket, not high jumping. He's exposing the ball first, and that's how he got the block.
7-point lead for TSU.
Good job.
So there's been a lot of success over this 1.5 2-mile stretch or so. These two universities, Texas Southern, University of Houston, neighbors, both very good at college basketball, and a very good shot there for P.J. Eason, as that cuts TSU's lead to 5.
It is very important for Grambling to find a way to score. They have to figure out a way to score consistently going down the stretch.
Speaking of University of Houston, they're playing right now as well over on ESPNU and have the lead over TCU. Here TSU unable to connect courtesy of Hunter, but Farmer fighting for the rebound. And that'll give TSU another opportunity. And Kelvin Sampson, Johnny Jones, head coaches at Houston and Texas Southern respectively, good friends, have known each other about 40 years. Johnny Jones was telling me earlier today as Hutchison rebounds the McLean miss. Grambling will walk it up here. We saw TSU put on some full court pressure a little earlier in the half, try and speed up Grambling, and had some success with that. Eason fakes the shot. Now Dozier, the shot clock in single digits. Wardle all over him, now gets a double team with Hunter coming over, and TSU able to force another turnover, a run out. Wardle unable to hit the layup. He thought he was fouled, and so did the TSU faithful. Stevenson, the left at the slam, finished off by Grambling's P.J. Eason. He has 6.
The missed layup that time came. He was not looking at the basket. You have to keep your eye on the basket.
McLean trying to get to the basket, instead off to Hunter. Thought about the baseline jumper. Instead will work his way inside. Back outside and stepped on the baseline. That's a turnover. Farouk with the turnover. Impressive offensive set a moment ago for Grambling.
When offense is not going, you need the transition, and you get the transition by throwing it up and finishing at the rim. And Grambling's right back in this. Out of a point guard, McLean gives it to you. He sets up other guys on the team, makes the shooters' jobs a lot easier, gets easy shots at the basket, and when he needs to step up and bury one, he can do that for you too. That's the picture of a leader.
Yeah, 11 points so far, along with 4 assists for McLean. Lost the SWAC opener, did TSU to Southern. McLean with just 7 points in that game. First time in 4 games. He had scored under double figures. Been in a little bit of a shooting slump the last couple of games, but playing a lot better tonight. And for TSU to come away with a win tonight, Perry, they certainly need McLean to be able to score and distribute like he has done so far.
Without question. Because he can manufacture points for other players that can't necessarily do it for themselves, because he gives them the ball where they can score and operate. He did it for Hunter earlier in this game, so he is surely a factor. And when I talked to Johnny Jones, his name was the first name out of his mouth that has to play well for him.
Transfer from Abilene Christian. That's where McLean was last year. Nice lefty layup for Contavious Dozier. His first points of the second half. Now has 9 for Grambling.
Dozier's been quiet, and everybody has a lot of respect for him. And I think he's going to have to step up and be more aggressive as we go down the stretch in this basketball game. And
all of a sudden, it's a 1-point game again. TSU has led by as much as 6 here in the second half. 7 on the shot clock. Hunter just inside the key, unable to connect. Back the other way comes Grambling State. Ross gives it to Stevenson, going to the basket, has that one swatted away, and TSU once again forces a turnover.
Guys got to get up and get back defensively.
Posey spinning, lefty shot is good.
That's a big time move by Posey right there. He's got to keep his emotions down, though. He doesn't want to pick up a tech.
He was fired up after hitting that shot. Has hit all 4 of his shots so far in this contest. Open 3 for Grambling, but unsuccessful. Hutchinson unable to connect.
It is interesting that TSU's made the decision to pressure because they've opened the floor up, and Grambling was having trouble scoring out of the half court. But because of the pressure, they've gotten a couple really good looks.
Now the official stop play. Posey a bit shaken up here.
That happened to me a couple of times as a coach, and depending on how important the player was or how well he was playing, I would say, buddy, you're okay, just keep going.
Yeah,
and the trainer wants to come out and check him out, and when he does that, you got to take him out the game.
Looks like Posey is going to come out here.
Yeah.
He's getting checked out. Played very well this evening for TSU. So it stays with Texas Southern. Keelan Farouk back into the game, replacing Posey for the time being.
I look for Grambling to go back and run some of the horns action that they ran earlier where they got Ross a couple of really good looks.
3-point lead for Texas Southern. Hunter looking to extend that, and he does.
I am so impressed with Hunter. I mean, he plays so hard. He plays so well within himself.
6 points now for Hunter. Go along with 4 rebounds. Under 4 minutes remaining in the half. Good lob inside, and Eason loses the basketball, and it will stay with Grambling. It's a break for Grambling as Eason loses the ball. Hayes trying to contend that actually hit off of Grambling.
There you see him trying to get the ball inside. Hunter holds his ground. No advantage right there. Ball's out of bounds.
It's called initially, but watch this again.
Yeah.
It looked like it was off of Stevenson. I don't think Hunter deflected it. I think that's what the officials had.
Yes.
That Hunter knocked it out, but that looks like that is off of Mikhail Stevenson. But it is going to stay with Grambling here. So a break for Grambling. The officials opted not to review that. And so Grambling will have the ball with 8 seconds on the shot clock. Down by 5, and they'll get a quick 3 from the corner, but it doesn't go for Stevenson. A fight for the rebound, and coming away with it is Jalen Jackson Posey for TSU. What do they say? Ball don't lie. McLean, deep 3, unsuccessful. And Burnett gets the board for Grambling. Grambling needs to do something here, down by 5. The time starting to run a bit short. Foul away from the ball on TSU. That's on Farouk, the first on him. Two teams picked at the top of the SWAC, playing in the SWAC championship game each of the last 2 years. Texas Southern winning in 2013 for their 3rd straight SWAC championship, while Grambling got the victory last year for their first ever NCAA tournament appearance, where they beat Montana State in the first 4 games before eventually losing to 3rd-seeded Purdue. Purdue wound up going to the Final 4. Matter of fact, made it all the way to the championship game against UConn. TSU gets another turnover. Back the other way. Hayes makes it pay off. 16 for Hayes to lead all scorers.
Great run out that time by Texas Southern, but defensively they've done an outstanding job in not allowing Dozier or Burnett to wind up dominating the ball in the low post area.
Edwards to the basket, unable to finish, but he draws the contact.
Watch the Texas Southern defense right there. Nothing in the paint, collapsing to the basketball, pushing it on the break, and getting a great finish right there by Hayes.
Edwards at the line. 58% free throw shooter on the year. Able to connect on the first. Edwards, 6'4" redshirt junior from Springfield, Illinois. Played last year at Bowling Green. Also spent some time at UCF before that. A relatively clean game so far in terms of fouls. Not a ton on either side. There were barely any in the first half. Edwards able to connect on both, and that gets Grambling within 5. Now Grambling looks like they're going to pick up full court. Wayne Posey into the game now for TSU. So Grambling with the full court pressure here. TSU able to get it into the front court with 2.5 remaining.
Now you got to make some decision how much time you're going to use, what type of set are you going to go into. It looks like TSU is going into a flat set and trying to give McClain room to dribble drive.
And McClain did have the drive, but unable to connect on the layup. Stevenson back the other way for Grambling. Ross to the basket, tough shot. He wanted the foul, doesn't get it, and it leads to a run out for TSU. Hayes with the Euro step and the finish.
Ross would have been better where he got the ball at the foul line just to shoot it at that point.
18 points, one off of Hayes' career high, which he set in the last game against Southern. 7-point lead for TSU is their largest of the night, trying to pick up their first win in SWAC play.
Does a great job of closing down the lane, making a tough shot for Ross, and finishing it with the fast break, which has been their calling card tonight. Great drive by Hayes, finishes. See how he keeps his head up, finishing at the rim, and that's been the difference for TSU in the game right now. Defensively being able to make stops and turning those into transition baskets.
A season high 8 block shots for TSU tonight. Big reason why they have the 7-point lead. So if you're Dante Jackson and Grambling, obviously time's running short, under 2 minutes to play, 3-possession ball game. What are you telling your team right now?
Well, I think I've got to find either a set or a player that can score. And I think he's a little frustrated right now because he's tried a lot of different looks to be able to get baskets, and it just hasn't come up with anything. Ross has been cold. Dozier's been cold. Burnett's been cold. So he's got to come up with a set or a player that he feels can get him a basket.
Yeah, Ernest Ross, the leading scorer for Grambling. He scored all 13 of his points, though, in the first half. Lob down low. Now he'll kick it out for the open 3 and able to connect. Boy, did they need that. P.J. Edwards, his first 3 of the night. And that makes it a 4-point game with 1.5 minutes remaining. Once again, Grambling picks up full court. Lane able to get it across the timeline.
Spacing is important right now for Texas Southern, so they don't get trapped. They got the ball in the hands of the guy that they wanted, and he's either going to shoot it or make the play.
And McClain turns it over, bad pass. Back the other way, Stevenson loses the ball for a moment, but able to get it into the corner. And a timeout is called. Edwards got trapped in the corner after Stevenson had trouble handling it, and you can see McClain's frustration committing the turnover.
Yeah, McClain right here. I mean, that pass is just not there. It's not a really good angle. They would rather him handle the ball and either take a shot at the end of the shot clock, but they come right back and double it. The best thing about that play for TSU was they didn't give up a layup. They got back in great transition, and they forced either a turnover or a timeout, and Grambling had to take the timeout. You know, when you make a mistake, and you're going to make mistakes, you just got to hustle back. You got to keep your head up, and that's what TSU was able to do.
I got to tell you, this is the first time I've ever heard an arena play, "Can We Talk" by Tevin Campbell when an opposing team calls a timeout. It's a good choice. Tevin Campbell generally not the sort of artist you hear on a playlist at an arena, especially these days.
They're doing it just for you. they knew he was one of your favorites. See, you got that kind of clout when you walk in here. Valet your car, play Kevin Campbell.
Less than a minute remaining, and a turnover, a bad pass. Dozier throwing it away for Grambling. Big stop there for TSU.
TSU has done a great job. See how they stunting in the lane right there, not giving any clear cut to the basket.
And now Dozier gets a turnover, can't hit the layup, but he's headed to the line.
You know, Johnny Jones he's got no hair now, but he's got to be pulling what little bit he has out, because they do the hard stuff defensively, and then they go and turn the ball over, which should be the easy stuff. I mean, the ball just kind of came off his leg. You know you're going to get pressure. Protect the basketball.
74% free throw shooter Dozier. And able to connect on the first. 11 points, or 10 points for Dozier so far.
And
his 9th double-figure scoring game.
And more pressure's coming right now.
Dozier, the SWAC preseason player of the year, makes it a perfect trip. And that makes it
clear it out.
A 2-point game here, 1-possession game. Lane almost turned it over, but Stevenson called for the foul. It's just the 4th team foul on Grambling. Still have 2 more to give.
Go back to McLean.
It is McLean who gets it in the backcourt.
Take your time, young fella. You normally have a set play call. Look, either go to Hunter or try to dribble drive and go to Hayes' side, since they're in a 1-4 flat, and maybe his guy comes up and you can kick to him for a jump shot.
Hunter gets it and is short. Rebound pulled down by Stevenson. Under 20 to play. Grambling down by 2. To the basket, no for Stevenson, but draws the contact. And once again, Stevenson will head to the line, where he has been perfect so far.
And Grambling has made up their minds right now that they're just going to drive the basketball. Stevens, that is a foul, got him across the arm and everything. Look, right there across the arm. You may not like it, but that was a foul right there. But what they've done is Grambling decided to give up on the ball screen, space the floor, and just drive the basketball.
Stevenson at the line, connects on the first. 72% free throw shooter on the season. Can tie the game if he makes this one.
Grambling, if he makes the shot, Grambling does not want a foul.
And we're tied at 57. 13.9 remaining. Full court pressure for Grambling. Now they back out of it as McLean will bring it up. 8 seconds to shoot. McLean tries to kick it out, turns the ball over, and Grambling picks up the basketball, gets it ahead to Dozier, and we're going to play an extra 5 minutes. So Grambling State getting to the line late in the second half, trailing by as many as 7 since the intermission. But they still have a chance to win this one, as we have 5 minutes of overtime coming up in Houston.
Well, give Grambling a lot of credit for 2 things. Offensive rebounding and staying with their pressure and forcing TSU to turn the ball over. All right. I mean, defensively, they shut down the passing lanes and did not give up any easy shots. But Grambling has fought and fought and fought. It hasn't been pretty all the time, but it's been aggressive. And Coach talked to us at the beginning at shoot-around today and said we got to find some way of getting it done. And I think he's instilled that sort of culture in this Grambling program. And they just fight you to the bitter end, no matter, you know, things aren't going well or it looks a little ugly, but they just keep fighting and fighting and fighting and figuring out a way. And that's what they've done here today.
Don't forget, tomorrow night, Cooper Flagg and Duke highlight our ACC men's pool. This is the first time game this season for both teams. Both teams looking for their first SWAC win. You know, we talked about it at the beginning, Perry, how this game means so much to both of these teams. Picked at the top of the SWAC, they both feel like the conference championship runs through them, and we're seeing the effort and the energy out here tonight, and we've seen it all game.
Without question. And here's the thing that you really walk away with. Although guys make mistakes and that shots sometimes don't go in, the competitive spirit of these two teams that has been instilled in them by their coaches. They don't hang their heads. They don't get down. They just continue to fight and battle and try to figure out a way. And so, I mean, that's the thing that's most impressive.
Ernest Ross, 13 points to lead Grambling. All of those came in the first half, however. Zaire Hayes, 18 points to lead all scorers in this game. 9 of those here since the intermission. Overtime underway with Grambling controlling the first possession. Stevenson hops to the basket and lays it in. Good start to the overtime for Grambling and Mikhail Stevenson.
That's been the first time a Grambling player has been able to get all the way to the basket.
And an issue with the shot clock not starting. It's at 27 now. So stay with TSU.
See, there's normally been a white jersey that has presented, that has stopped the drive to the basket. That time, Stevenson got all the way to the rim.
First Grambling lead since it was 30-28. Hayes loses the ball and he was fouled. Grambling doesn't think so, though. Still more fouls to give for Grambling.
Great job, Hayes. I don't know about that. It looks like he may have just lost that one. But Texas Southern is doing a much better job. They're rejecting the ball screens, which is giving them driving lanes.
Hayes with the basketball. Back on the handoff of Hunter.
They're looking to double it.
Open three from the right wing. Yes, sir. Jalen Jackson Posey with 6 points on a pair of triples. And TSU back on top. Back the other way. Whatever you can do, I can do as well. Antoine Burnett with his first made 3 of the night.
Burnett has been a player in this basketball game, whether or not he's been driving, whether or not you give him an open look, but he has really been the offensive guy that has come through for Grambling.
9 of Burnett's 14 points have come since the second half began. Just over 3.5 remaining in overtime. Good pass along the baseline and an excellent rejection from behind. PJ Eason denying underneath Dwayne Posey.
That might have been the defensive play of the game right there. That was a heck of a block. Easton came from the weak side and just pinned it to the basket.
Both of these teams losing their SWAC openers on Saturday. Grambling losing at Prairie View, TSU losing at home to Southern, and a rejection for Hunter. However, Dozier gets it off the heel, and an offensive rebound again for Grambling.
Grambling's doing a monster job offensive rebound in the basketball. Edwards gave up a lot of size that time to Hunter and everything, and he still outfought him for the rebound.
Officials reset the shot clock, which hadn't gone to 20. It's now at 17. After 3 seconds elapsed after the offensive rebound.
Grambling is undersized, but they're doing a heck of a job on the offensive glass.
Net coming around the Easton screen. Now gives it to Edwards. Edwards driving to the basket, and the foul is called. TSU doesn't like it. But Dwayne Posey whistled for his 4th.
You know, it's a lot of contact both ways. That's a foul.
Yep.
That's not a legal guarding position.
Posey picks up his 4th. Will send Edwards to the line.
Edwards has had a very quiet impact on this basketball game, both defensively, rebounding the basketball, and scoring.
And misses the first free throw. 2 of 3 from the line tonight. He's just 58% on the year. Looking to put Grambling up by 3 here. And he does just that. Texas Southern, which was in control much of the second half, now playing from behind here in overtime. Jackson Posey gives it back to McClain. And McClain loses the basketball. Another turnover. P.J. Eason the one with the loose ball. And Dozier unable to hit the layup on the alley-oop try. And cleared out by TSU. A run out. And that looked close to a goaltend, and it wasn't called.
Yeah.
Jackson Posey pointing at the basket saying, hey, that should have been a goaltend. And I tend to agree.
Yeah, that was a goaltend. They missed that one.
We'll take another look at it here.
Lays it up on the glass. That's a goaltend.
Instead, it goes as a block for Eason. And Johnny Jones working the officials after that last call, or no call. Meanwhile, after the rebound, TSU commits the foul, and that'll send Stevenson to the line. As Grambling will shoot the double bonus the rest of the way. Stevenson, a 72% free throw shooter, but misses on the first.
It's really important on this possession Texas Southern gets a good look.
Jalen Weisinger comes in here for McClain, who's been a little more turnover prone lately. Stevenson gives Grambling a 4-point lead, just over 2 minutes remaining in overtime. Hayes tries a deep three and buries a deep three. Zaire Hayes has been the man in the second half for TSU, now has 21.
That might have been the biggest shot of the day, because that was a tough shot. He got all on his own. He refused the ball screen so they couldn't double him, stepped back and buried the jump shot.
1-point lead for Grambling, and a collision underneath as Burnett was fouled, and he's a bit shaken up.
Yeah, he's hurt. He looks a little hurt.
Now, Burnett missed the last game against Prairie View for Grambling with a back injury. And see him, he's grabbing, it looks like his lower back. Hayes called for his 3rd foul. But the concern right now with Burnett of Grambling, who is in a lot of discomfort.
Gets the ball in low, bullies his way in, just came down on his back.
And the foul was actually called on Posey, which is his 5th, so his night comes to an end. Posey finishing with 9 points.
The back is such a delicate part of the body, and you have to be extremely careful.
And when we talked to Dante Jackson at shoot-around today, he wasn't 100% sure if Burnett was going to be able to play tonight. Yeah. But he was able to play, and now it looks like he's going to come off for now. And again, you see him grabbing that lower back. And the back injury is what kept him out of Grambling's last game. A 1-point game because of this basket parry by Zaire Hayes.
Great play right there. See his step back. He didn't let him double the ball screen right there and was able to knock down the shot.
Hayes has scored 12 of his 21 points since the intermission.
Now,
and Eason is going to take the free throws for Burnett, so that means Burnett cannot return to this basketball game. Eason unable to connect on the first. He's just a 28% free throw shooter. Now 5 for 19 on the year at the line. You see Burnett, he's really feeling it.
Yeah.
Fortunate for that young man. Eason unable to connect on either, and it's a 1-point game still. Texas Southern with the ball, trailing. Pulling the point guard, McLean on the bench.
Trying to set something up for Hayes.
Hayes bumps.
Yeah.
Stevenson called for the foul. That's the last foul to give for Grambling. There's 6. And all things considered, Perry, maybe not the worst thing you can do in that situation if you're Grambling.
No, not at all. But
or is that the?
It must. It's one of
the 6, so it must be the 7. Well, okay, now it's not such a great foul. So apparently the 7th team foul. So a 1-and-1 opportunity here. Hayes able to knock the score. 83% free throw shooter.
Now, if I'm Texas Southern, I'm not hitting them with any type of pressure. I'm just trying to contain the basketball and make Grambling have to make a jump shot and then rebound the ball.
Hayes unable to connect on the second. And a couple of Grambling players collide with each other. Edwards colliding with his own teammate, Ross. All tied with a minute to play in overtime. Tough shot missed by Stevenson, and TSU comes away with it. Quickly back the other way, and Hayes draws the foul. Almost turned it over. And he'll head back to the free throw line.
Texas Southern did a great job defensively, and then they were out in transition. This is what they've done well all day today in transition.
Might have gotten tripped there.
It's been a lot of contact, and I think the officials have done a really good job of trying to figure out which is a foul and which is just a play on. But when it gets down tight, the calls get a little tighter.
He's able to connect on the first.
That's why
5 from the line.
That's why coaches tell their players, drive the basketball, make them make a call.
You see the foul situation currently for both teams. Hayes able to make it a perfect trip, which makes it a 2-point lead for Texas Southern with under a minute to play.
And guess who walks to the scorer's table? Mr. Burnett.
How about that?
You think this game is not important?
A double team. Stevenson falls down, and a tie-up is called.
Texas Southern ball.
So TSU has it with 34.7 to play.
They have trapped these ball screens all day long, and it has caused Grambling a lot of problems. They haven't solved how to play out of the double teams, and it cost them a turnover right there.
Good job by Weisinger to get his hands on that and force that tie-up. Weisinger still in there for McLean.
Now, if I'm Grambling, I think I foul. You don't, because if they run it down, you're only going to have 4 seconds offensively to be able to come up with a basket. Yeah.
And they do foul. Dozier gives it.
You got to extend the game to give yourself more time offensively to execute.
So that'll send Weisinger to the line. 6-foot senior from Houston. His first free throw attempts tonight. He's 76% on the year.
especially when you're in a 1-and-1. Now, if it's a 2-shot foul, you may look at it a little differently, but a 1-and-1.
And unable to connect. So Grambling with the ball, down by 2. They can run this down. 2-second differential between game and shot clock. Reverse the ball into the corner. Open 3 is missed. And the rebound pulled down by TSU. P.J. Edwards unable to hit the 3, and Grambling has the foul. So it's going to be another 1-and-1 opportunity for TSU. Pretty good set run there by Grambling, just couldn't hit the shot.
Couldn't, and then that's the first time, Johnny, he didn't want that foul to be called. Good set. Texas Southern does a great job rebounding. Look at, they're trying to get rid of it real quick before any foul call.
Eddie Hunter will come back into the ball game for TSU. 17.6 to play. Jackson Posey at the line, and unable to connect on the front. Another 1-and-1 out of bounds. Who touched it last? Grambling did. 15.9 to play.
Now, whoever catches the ball for Texas Southern needs to just hold on to the ball, because they're going to get fouled. So you want to make sure on the inbounds that the ball goes in the hands of a good foul shooter.
Timeout called here. TSU, or actually this is an official review here.
Yeah.
Are they determining who hit that out of bounds last?
I think that's what they're doing. They just want to make sure.
We'll get some more looks at it. It was originally off of Grambling touching it last. And Burnett called, or the one who touched it last, perhaps. Posey looked like was reaching for it, but couldn't quite get it.
You have to change it, you have to be really conclusive, and that was not conclusive, so.
I agree with you. By the way, Posey in the game, initially he had fouled out, but they had changed one of his fouls, so he has 4 fouls. That's why he's in there right now. Get another look at this. Yeah, I think that's going to be hard to flip.
Yeah.
I think that's going to stay TSU ball based on what we have seen so far. The officials have the same views we do. His 3-man SWAC officiating crew: Trent Dews, John Johnson, Bobby DeSant III. And we've talked about it throughout this game, Perry. This has been a pretty physical game. This officiating crew has really had to earn their pay tonight to try and kind of, let these guys play to a point, but also kind of figure out how much contact is too much.
Yeah, and, it's always up to the players to adjust and the coaching staff to adjust to how the game is officiated. And, coaches will tell you, just set the tone, let us know, and we can coach to that way. And what they hate is for you to call it one way in the first half and another way in the second half. That's the thing that really frustrates a lot of coaches. But this group has been pretty consistent. I don't know why it's taken as long necessarily.
Let's see if we maybe have some more clarity from that angle. And yeah, I think that is going, again, I think it's going to be tough to switch that based off of what we've seen to this point. Off of Grambling, TSU ball is the call at the moment. The officials taking their time to try and get this right. Such a crucial call, a pivotal point in this game. 15.9 remaining in overtime, with Texas Southern up by 3.
It's always 2 officials over there looking at the replay, and the third guy, the coaches are grabbing and say, what's taking them so long?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the third guy gets the short end of the stick in that deal.
It really is taking a lot longer than what. Now they're bringing the third guy in.
Yeah, now they're switching out the official. It's like, okay, you go take some abuse from the coaches.
But this is what coaches don't like. I mean, you want to get it right, but it just messes up the flow of it.
Right. Okay. And
now they got to go, and now they got to huddle up. I mean, it makes me nervous when it takes that long, though.
Yeah. Especially if the call's initially in your favor.
Yeah.
And the officials huddle for this long, you think, okay, this may not go our way. All right, let's see. And it's going to stay TSU basketball.
Isn't that what we said 5 minutes ago?
Well, they wanted to make extra sure, and they did.
Now, whoever gets the ball for Texas Southern, do not put it on the floor. They've got to catch it, hold on to it.
Grambling has to foul here, and they're able to get it into the hands of Farouk. Dozier called for the foul, his third. So Keelan Farouk goes to the line. He is attempting his second free throw of the season. He's 1 of 1. And is still perfect on the year.
This has been a heck of a game, and it's been a game that is not conclusive. I mean, these two teams will see each other some more, and you know, it's not a clear-cut who's better.
So Farouk makes this a 2-possession game. Grambling calls timeout with 14.6 remaining. Yeah, these two teams will meet at Grambling the day after Valentine's Day. And Zaire Hayes, Perry, he has been sensational here in the second.
He really has. He's been able to score inside. He's been able to knock down mid-range jump shots. He's been able to drive the basketball. He's knocked down threes. Offensively, he has answered the bell and really given consistent scoring for Texas Southern.
15 points out of his 24 have come since the intermission.
The biggest was his three. I mean, that's the one where they were really on the ropes, and he stepped up and knocked down the three for him and put them in a position where they could win this basketball game.
After Grambling took the lead quickly in the overtime period with a couple of buckets, they've missed their last 5 shots, trying to change that here, but the three is missed. Hutchinson gets the putback, however, after the missed 3 by Edwards, and immediately calls timeout as it's back to a 3-point lead for TSU.
Again, you have to rebound the basketball. I mean, defensively, I think you're going to see some full court man pressure, not zone, because whoever gets the ball, we got to foul right away. So I don't want to go in the zone and get confused on being able to get a quick foul. I think you got to push the ball down to the baseline and keep it in front of you, and then you got to foul immediately.
So Grambling using their final timeout as they're trying to do whatever they can to try and extend this ball game, and they have to hope that Texas Southern misses some free throws. Both teams in the double bonus.
Now for Texas Southern, you have to come meet the basketball hard.
.1 remaining, and the foul is given immediately on Jackson Posey.
And that's why it's so important to push the offensive player to the baseline where he's in front of you so you can get a quick foul. Get everybody off the line so nobody gets a lane violation or foul somebody rebounding the basketball.
Jackson Posey, 2 of 3 from the line on the season. Transfer from New Mexico State. And he's able to make it a 2-possession game once again. Perfect trip for Jackson Posey. And Grambling getting it up quickly. Stevenson with the 3, unable to connect, and that'll do it. In the battle of SWAC heavyweights, it's Texas Southern which lands the first uppercut as TSU holds serve at home with the 71-66 win. They get their first win in SWAC play. They're 1-1 in the conference, 4-11 overall, while Grambling 0-2 in the league as they come up empty on their season opening SWAC road trip to Prairie View and TSU, and are now 3-12 on the season. And obviously still plenty of conference season left, Perry, and this isn't a death knell by any means for Grambling, but it certainly has to really hurt to lose this ball game, especially with the way Grambling was able to fight to force overtime and extend this basketball game.
Well, they played extremely hard and everything. Grambling has to figure out a way offensively to be able to step up and make some shots and everything, but it's a great win for Texas Southern.
So both of these teams talk quite a bit about how big this game was, and Texas Southern wanted to avenge their SWAC championship tournament loss last year, and able to do that tonight. Of course, these teams will meet again in Grambling on February 15th, as we're about to be joined by the leading scorer in tonight's ball game, Zaire Hayes from Texas Southern, joining us. 24 points for the ball game. And first of all, thank you so much for joining us. 24 points, a career high for you. You're coming off a 19-point game against Southern, which was a career high before tonight. You feel like going into conference play, you have a better idea of what you need to do offensively, what you need to do to help this team?
Yes, sir. We just got to keep executing. Whatever our coach draw up, run it through, execute plays. Bigs finish inside, guards finish outside, play inside out first, and just execute.
Well, the thing I was really impressed with, your shot readiness, and coming off of drives, you spotted up in the corner, knocked down some really important threes, and then the step back, the three that really put you in a position to stay in this basketball game. We want to talk about that.
That's just reps. Every day, waking up 8 a.m., going to the gym, working out with Coach White and my trainers, coming to the gym after late night, working out. It's just a whole lot of reps over these years, and it's paying off right now.
Great game today.
Thank you.
You were on the TSU team last year that lost to Grambling in the SWAC championship game. How much did you guys as a team talk about that game, and how much that was going to motivate you, not just for tonight, but for this season?
We talked about it a lot. It was something we talked about every day during tour days, every day during workout. We made it a point. Sitting back, watching the ropes. I learned from Cisse, PJ, Dion, big brothers. They taught me the ropes, so I just I just grasped what they taught me and gonna put it in the effort for this year.
All right, Zaire Hayes, a career-high 25 points. Thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the fantastic basketball game.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Congratulations, buddy.
So Texas Southern holds serve at home as they pick up the victory over Grambling, 71-66. For Perry Clark and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Robert Ford saying so long from Houston.